inhumane. That's how one Tulsa veteran describes his treatment from the VA. It comes after a national investigation exposed problems with the entire VA system.
What 2 News investigator Marla Carter uncovered now has a U.S. Senator and Congressman investigating treatment at our local VA hospital. She's live in Muskogee tonight for us. Marla?
Russ and Karen, for months, we've been looking into dozens of cases involving delays in care to delays in test results. But one Tulsa veteran's story really caught our surprise. When we first met Monty, tubes were pumping life into his veins. Too weak to walk, he was confined to a hospital bed. The agonizing aftermath of a journey through the VA system. Is that Monty?
Yeah, that's Monty.
Sabrina Austin, Monty Collins' niece, took us back to Monty's younger days when he enlisted in the Coast Guard in the Korean War.
He would always say, you need to be proud of your father for being in the military and being on the front lines and all that. But he would kind of minimize his role.
Monty served 2 years. In April, Monty had a mild heart attack. He was taken to a local heart hospital.
They prepped me for the surgery. And just before they got to it, VA called and said, we're not going to pay for that expensive surgery.
But it wasn't a quick decision. At this point, Monty says 2 days had gone by while Monty prepped for surgery, meaning no food or water. Finally, the VA decided to fly Monty to its Houston hospital.
We waited and waited.
At the end of the day, the doctor came in and said they'd do surgery. So they prepped him for that.
Again, we waited and waited and waited.
And yet another day passed prepping for surgery, meaning no food or water. The doctor returned the next day.
He started to run another test. I said, let's just stop. I said, I've had enough.
After suffering a heart attack, going 4.5 days without food or water, and never getting a decision on surgery, Monty just wanted to go home. The VA put Monty on a gurney in the back of an ambulance and drove him back to Tulsa. An 8.5-hour ride that left Monty with sores and bruises.
Bumping and bouncing, all, just tore me up. I can't help but think if I'd have gotten timely care when I first hit this place, that on the 27th of April, that things might have been a whole lot different.
Prior to his heart attack, Monty called the VA about chest pains, but says no one returned his calls. Monty isn't alone. The Inspector General is investigating cases of poor care in VAs across the country. There are 2 VA hospitals in Oklahoma, one in Muskogee, the other in Oklahoma City. A federal audit into the Muskogee VA revealed 200 patients waited 90 days or more to see a doctor, and 500 patients waited a month. The 2 News investigators sat down with Richard Crockett of the Muskogee VA to ask about Monty's case. Is that acceptable?
You know what? No, it isn't acceptable.
When we asked why the VA moved Monty to Houston after he was prepped for surgery in Tulsa, they said,
since we have those doctors anyway, it's cheaper for us to do it. It's more efficient.
Cheaper, yes. But the VA says it's not about the money.
In these particular instances, cost never comes up. It just doesn't. That's, you just got to trust me on that. It's always about the patient.
We took those responses and Monty's story to Congressman Jim Bridenstine.
This is a nightmare, and this is exactly what is wrong with the VA. It's why people need to be held accountable. This is not the way we treat our veterans.
Now Bridenstine is backing legislation so no other vet has to experience what Monty did. And how do you plan on holding the VA responsible?
What we have heard now from the Justice Department is that there will be, where appropriate, criminal investigations.
I may not make it through this, but maybe the next one that has a heart attack will get timely care,
Sadly, Monty didn't make it. Monty took his own life 6 weeks after he went to the Houston VA, and 2 days before he was supposed to meet Congressman Jim Bridenstine to talk about the need for change. Monty's final mission for a system he fought for, he worked for, and he felt ultimately let him down. Now, if there's a veteran's case you would like the 2 News investigators to look into, send us an email at news@kjrh.com.
Live in Muskogee, Marla Carter, 2 News works for you.
All right, Marla, thanks. Now, Senator Jim Inhofe's office is also looking into Monty's case, and they've opened an investigation. The 2 News investigators also sat down with Senator Inhofe, and he, too, is working to improve the VA system. 27 VA clinics are getting major improvements to provide care. Tulsa's clinic was on that list, then removed until Senator Inhofe spoke up.
There's a little mystery behind why it was taken off. And there were 27, and that was taken off and made it 26. And I called up the chairman in the House of the House Veterans Committee, and they agreed in conference to put it back on.
We're going to continue to follow the VA in our area and any issues they may have.